Somewhere in your house, at 3 in the morning, a cat explodes into motion. It sprints the length of the hallway and stops dead against the far wall. You have seen this 100 times and never once thought twice about it. The wide eyes, the flattened ears, the whole body coiled and then unspooled down the corridor. That same sudden fire, in a cousin of your cat, may drive a body to nearly 70 miles an hour. It can reportedly go from a standstill to 45 miles an hour in about 2.5 seconds, quicker off the mark than most cars. And when the run ends, it stops the way your cat does, instantly, completely, staring, same instinct, same body plan. Just built, from the claws up, to do all of it at speed. This is the cheetah, met not behind the glass but on its own ground. Everything about it has been pared down, over millions of years, for a single purpose. An adult may weigh only 34 to 64 kilograms and stands just about 77 centimeters at the shoulder. It is built long and lean, all deep chest and narrow waist, more racing frame than heavyweight cat. And its closest relatives are not the lion or the leopard. They are the puma and the jaguarundi, and the cheetah split from that lineage around 5 million years ago. This is not, in other words, a small leopard. Now look at the feet. Unlike almost every other cat, its blunt claws never fully retract, and they seem to grip the ground like the spikes on a sprinter's shoe. Its paw print, oddly, is reported to look more like a dog's than a cat's. The fastest running speed ever reliably clocked for any land animal belongs to a cheetah. 29 meters a second, about 64 miles an hour, timed over a 200-meter course. At a full run, it may cover about 7 meters in a single stride, taking 4 strides a second. Its spots, some 2,000 of them, covering nearly the whole body, are thought to break up its outline against dry, dappled grass. And the 2 black lines that run from the inner corner of each eye down to the mouth may cut the sun's glare, helping the animal keep sprinting prey in focus. None of it is decoration. Every marking here seems to earn its place. So how does a lightweight cat move like that? The answer is a body organized, from the bones outward, around the chase. At full gallop, a cheetah loads about 70% of its weight onto its hind legs. It takes longer, lower-frequency strides than a racing greyhound of the same size. The long, muscular tail seems to work as a rudder, swinging side to side to counterbalance the body through sharp, high-speed turns. Behind it all sits an oversized engine room, working far beyond what an ordinary cat would ever demand of itself. Enlarged nostrils, big lungs, and a large heart appear to feed oxygen fast enough to sustain a body working at a furious rate. When researchers collared wild cheetahs in Botswana and recorded 367 hunting runs, they logged some of the highest accelerations, decelerations, and body mass-specific power ever measured in a land mammal. Their accelerating power came out at roughly 4 times what Usain Bolt produced in his record 100-meter run. Turning forces often ran above 13 meters per second squared. But this fire burns fast, and it cannot be kept lit for long. A cheetah may hold its top speed for only a few 100 meters and perhaps 20 seconds, so a chase has to be won almost at once or abandoned. And even a win is not really safe. Only about half of a cheetah's chases are reported to end in a kill, and it loses roughly half of what it does catch to lions, hyenas, and leopards. To stay clear of those bigger rivals, it appears to hunt largely by daylight, relying on its eyes rather than the cover of night. Away from the hunt, cheetah society splits oddly down the middle. Females, research suggests, live alone. Males, it seems, band together for life in small coalitions, usually 2 or 3, often brothers. that hold territory better than any lone male could. A female's world is different again, solitary and roaming, shaped entirely around raising the next generation. After a gestation of about 3 months, she may bear a litter of 3 to 6 cubs and raises them entirely alone. For those cubs, the open plains are brutal. On the Serengeti shortgrass, studies have found that the great majority of cubs die before independence. Most, researchers report, are killed by lions. And then there is the sound. Instead of a roar, it greets and calls with a high, bird-like chirp. Distinctive enough, studies suggest, that mother and cubs seem to know one another by voice. It belongs, it seems, to the purring line of cats rather than the roaring one, the very same branch as the animal asleep on your sofa. And a wild cheetah that survives to adulthood may live, on average, only about 8 to 10 years, though in human care they might reach 12 to 15. And now the twist, or rather, several of them at once. Start with the animal itself and what is written into its blood. Cheetahs are so genetically alike that, in classic experiments, skin grafts swapped between complete strangers were simply accepted. The bodies simply behaved as though every cheetah on Earth were an identical twin. That startling near uniformity is the unmistakable fingerprint of a genetic bottleneck. Cheetah numbers appear to have crashed around 10 to 12,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age. Every cheetah alive descends from the handful that came through. Then there is the strangest part of all about the fastest animal on land. The collar data show that in a real hunt, a cheetah rarely reaches its top speed at all. Kills are won not by raw speed, but by savage acceleration, braking, and the ability to turn. There is an old safari line that a cheetah must break off a chase before it overheats. It turns out to be wrong. When researchers implanted body temperature sensors in wild cheetahs, their temperature barely rose during the run itself, creeping up only afterwards. One last twist loops straight back to your living room. The rare blotch-coated king cheetah was once thought a separate species. In fact, its pattern comes from a single recessive change in one gene called TACPEP. It is the very same gene that decides whether a pet tabby wears stripes or blotches. The cheetah is now listed as vulnerable, with a global population reportedly put at around 6,500 mature animals, and still falling. And it has already vanished, quietly, from most of the map it once owned. Cheetahs today hold only about 9% of the range they once roamed, and more than 3/4 of what remains lies outside protected reserves. And one whole branch of the family is now almost entirely gone. The Asiatic cheetah, once spread from the Near East to India, now survives only in Iran, where recent counts may number just a few dozen. By some official estimates, barely a dozen. So think back, one last time, to your own cat at 3 in the morning. The sudden sprint, the hard stop, the flat and unimpressed stare. You have seen that small animal 1,000 times. Now, perhaps, you have finally met its wild cousin, the same fire, wound tighter and running for its life. If you have ever watched a cheetah, at speed or at rest, tell me below, and thank you for watching.